you wake up. Before your feet even touch the ground, your mind begins to run. What needs to be done? Who expects something of me today? What if I don't live up to it? You reach for your phone. The world floods in before your breath even settles. Thousands of voices, faces, opinions. And inside, a quiet, constant hum. Am I doing enough? Alan Watts once said, "The meaning of life is just to be alive. It is so plain and so obvious and so simple. Yet everyone rushes around in a great panic, as if it were necessary to achieve something beyond themselves. And maybe that's what we've forgotten. That life was never something to figure out. It was something to feel." Alan Watts was not a guru sitting on a mountain. He was a bridge between East and West, science and spirit, logic and mystery. Born in England in 1915, Watts studied theology before falling in love with Zen Buddhism, Taoism, and the philosophies of India. He saw a world obsessed with control, people trying to master their minds, their futures, their emotions. And he realized the great paradox, that our constant effort to be something is what keeps us from simply being. He said, "You are an aperture through which the universe is looking at and exploring itself." That single sentence contains the heartbeat of his teaching. It means you are not separate from the world you're trying to control. You are that world, momentarily conscious of itself. So, what does this mean for you, the person behind the thoughts, the one caught in the loop of what if and what next? To truly understand what Watts meant by freedom, we have to explore the teachings that made him timeless. Not commandments, not steps to success, but windows into seeing reality as it really is. Let's step into 4 of his most liberating ideas. Each one a key to loosening the grip of overthinking and remembering what it means to simply be. The first and foundational idea. The real you is the universe, expressing itself. Watts said, "You are something the whole universe is doing, in the same way that a wave is something the whole ocean is doing." Take a moment to imagine that. Every heartbeat, an ocean current. Every thought, a ripple in a cosmic sea. Every choice, even your confusion, part of something vast, intelligent, and alive. But somewhere along the line, we began to forget. We started saying, "This is me, and that is everything else." We learned to treat the world as separate, the trees as scenery, the air as resource, other people as competitors. And yet, every breath you take is borrowed from a tree. Every thought you think depends on the sunlight that feeds the food that fuels your brain. The illusion of separateness, that's the root of overthinking. It's the mind pretending it can stand outside life and manage it. Watts would laugh softly at that idea. "You don't manage the universe," he'd say. "You are it." When you finally feel that, not just understand it, but feel it, you stop struggling to fit into the world, because you realize you are never outside of it to begin with. So the next time you catch yourself spiraling, step back. Not away from life, but into it. Close your eyes. Breathe. Feel the hum of existence beneath your thoughts. That rhythm is not yours, it's everything's, and you are it. Now, on to our second idea. Trying to define yourself is like biting your own teeth. Watts once said, "Trying to define yourself is like trying to bite your own teeth." It sounds absurd until you realize how much of modern life is built on exactly that absurdity. We spend years curating identities, profiles, brands, reputations, chasing some final version of ourselves we can finally approve of. We want to be the kind of person who... And yet that kind of person is a moving target that changes every time we look. You are not your job, not your relationship, not your failures or your dreams. You are the awareness watching all of that happen. But the modern mind doesn't know how to rest in that. It keeps asking, who am I, really? And Watts would smile and say, who's asking? The mind tries to catch itself in its own net. It wants certainty about what it can never stand outside of. That's why defining yourself feels impossible, because you're both the question and the answer. Watts said life is like a mirror. You can't see your own eyes directly, you can only see their reflection. Likewise, the self cannot define itself, it can only be. Instead of building yourself like a statue, live yourself like a river. Flow, change shape. Be different tomorrow without guilt for who you were yesterday. And when you forget, remember this. You are not a noun. You are a verb, a happening, not a thing. The beauty of being alive isn't in finally knowing who you are. It's in realizing you never had to. Let's move on to our third and quite game-changing idea. The backward law, the paradox of control. Alan Watts' backward law might be the most direct cure for modern anxiety. When you try to stay on the surface of the water, you sink. But when you try to sink, you float. He meant that the more we chase something, the more it escapes us. Try to be calm and you'll grow restless. Try to be happy and you'll notice all the ways you're not. Try to fall asleep and you'll stay awake. Why? Because the effort itself signals lack. Wanting peace implies you don't have it. Modern culture thrives on this tension. We scroll through 10 ways to find happiness, how to manifest abundance, how to stop overthinking. Every title begins with how to get, reinforcing the idea that we are missing something. Watts' answer wasn't passive. He wasn't saying do nothing. He was saying act, but without the strain of wanting. The Taoists call it Wu Wei, effortless action. Doing without forcing, moving without clutching at outcomes. When you truly trust life, actions flow naturally, like a leaf riding the river. There's movement, but no resistance. Try this next time you feel that familiar anxiety about your future, instead of tightening around it. Let it be there. Feel the tension in your chest, the racing thought. And then, do nothing with it. Watch it like weather passing through the sky. Soon you realize the storm doesn't need fixing, it just needs space to move. That's the secret. Peace isn't achieved by grasping for calm. It's revealed when you stop fighting the noise. Finally, we have our fourth topic. Life is music, not a journey. Watts said, we thought of life by analogy with a journey, a pilgrimage which had a serious purpose at the end. But we missed the point the whole way along. It was a musical thing, and you were supposed to sing or dance while the music was being played. If the real you is the universe expressing itself, and control is an illusion, then this, right now, is the song. Life isn't something to get right. It's a melody you participate in. When you listen to music, you don't rush to the final note. You savor every movement. You let it build, swell, fade. That's how life wants to be lived. But we're trained to chase crescendos, to believe the next milestone, the next goal, the next breakthrough will make us whole. We trade the present moment for the hope of a future one. Watts would laugh and say, you don't dance to get somewhere. You dance because dancing is the point. So maybe your life doesn't need a purpose. Maybe it is the purpose. Maybe every mistake, every doubt, every quiet joy is part of the rhythm you came here to feel. When you let yourself play again, truly play, life stops feeling like something to survive. It becomes something to explore. The music has always been playing. You just forgot you were part of it. Alan Watts didn't want followers. He wanted you to wake up, to stop treating existence like a problem to solve. Because when you stop trying to get life right, you find that life has been right all along. You can breathe, you can laugh, you can feel the pulse of the universe moving quietly through you. The mind will still chatter, the thoughts will still come. But now you know, they're not enemies. They're instruments in the song. And so, stop trying to conduct the orchestra. Just listen. Let the music carry you. Because it always has. Which Alan Watts idea challenges you most? The real self, the backward law, or life as music? Share your thoughts below. And keep listening.